In this video, we're going to have a look at a definition of innovation and then review some different types of innovation. So starting off with the definition, innovation is the process of coming up with a new or improved product or way of doing something. The concept of innovation is very important to businesses. A lot of new businesses are made from a product or process innovation. That's what gets them started. Once a business is established and running, then innovation is often what keeps it going. Being able to continually be innovating and coming up with new products and processes allows a business to continue to be successful. So if you look at some of these successful companies, Apple and Samsung are constantly coming out with new products and improvement on their existing products. Nike are constantly coming out with new and improved shoes and using new technology and materials in making their shoes. A business like Facebook was started by Mark Zuckerberg being innovative and coming up with a completely new product to meet the needs of the market. So innovation is essential for businesses to be successful. So next we'll move on and have a look at some different types of innovation. And we're going to look at the 4 types that come under the OECD's Oslo types of innovation. Now the first type of innovation that we're going to have a look at is product innovation. Now product innovation is probably what most people first think of when they think of innovation. Now product innovation is a good or service that is new or significantly improved. This includes significant improvements in technical specification, components and materials, software in the product, user-friendliness, or other functional characteristics. So any changes or improvement to a product or the creation of a new product is product innovation. As I said before, it is one of the most common types of innovation and what most people think of when they think of innovation. So let's have a look at some examples of different types of product innovation. So the first example we're going to have a look at is innovation that results in a new product. And the example is the Amazon Kindle. So before the Amazon Kindle was created, people would read paper books. The Amazon Kindle changed that and allowed people to be able to download electronic books and read it in the palm of their hand. So the Amazon Kindle is an example of a new product innovation. Product innovation can also be an improved feature on an existing product. Now this is what a lot of businesses or established businesses do. Once they've got their product, they will continually be looking to improve their product. So Apple is a very good example of this, and they every year are continually improving their products. So their most recent one, the iPhone 11, came out with an improvement to the camera that introduced an ultra-wide camera. So they haven't changed it significantly, but they continually to do some product innovation each time they release a new one and improve an existing feature. The third example we're going to have a look at is a new feature to an existing product. An example of this is adding power windows to cars. Before power windows were added to cars, you used to have to wind them down manually. So the process of coming up and adding power windows to cars was an innovation because they introduced a new feature to the car, a feature that wasn't there before. So that's 3 examples of different types of product innovation. Now there is another video that explores product innovation and different types of product innovation in a lot more detail. So we'll now move on and have a look at the second type of innovation. And the second type of innovation is process innovation. Now this is a new or significantly improved production or delivery method to the customer. It includes significant changes to techniques, equipment, and or the software that is used to produce the product or deliver it to the customer. And process innovation is often not noticed by the customer because it involves how the product is made or how it's delivered to them. Now, just because as a customer we cannot see the innovation that is happening doesn't mean that businesses aren't innovating and coming up with new ways of doing things. We just don't notice the difference when we receive the final product that we buy from the shops. So let's have a look at a couple of examples of process innovation that has occurred over time. So the first example of process innovation, and probably one of the most famous throughout history, is the Ford assembly line. Now the Ford assembly line dramatically changed the way cars were produced and introduced the method that cars are still produced by today. So prior to the Ford assembly line being created by Henry Ford, cars were produced one at a time by hand. This was a very time-consuming process and made buying the end product very expensive to the customer. Now this changed with the introduction of the assembly line. So instead of building cars one at a time, cars were manufactured in parts and added to the car as it moved down the assembly line. So by the time it got to the end of the assembly line, the car had been finished and was ready for the customer. But one of the key differences here is that instead of having a team build one car at a time, you were responsible for one part of the car. So your job was to always add the same part. So for example, the wheels, your job was to add the wheels. So that meant that you will be able to develop those skills in that specific part of the car, which means that you could do it quicker, and then the car got built quicker. It dramatically decreased the cost of producing a car and made it a lot quicker and affordable for consumers. And as I said before, this is the way the cars are still made today. And a lot of other products as well copied the way the Ford assembly line worked for the manufacturing of cars and has introduced it for their product. So the assembly line is one of the most well known. One of the new ones that's starting to occur is the new drone delivery technology. So under this technology, instead of having to get it shipped through the mail or delivered by a courier, your parcel will be delivered by drones directly to your house. Now this has started to occur overseas and is starting to happen in Australia as well. So it will dramatically change the way products and parcels are delivered to consumers. So businesses are always looking for ways of innovating the process and getting products to the customer cheaper and quicker. Process innovation is important for businesses to be successful, but as a customer, we're not always noticing when it is occurring. So whether it's the Ford assembly line 100 years ago or the new drone delivery now, process innovation is constantly occurring. So we will continue and have a look at the next type of innovation. The third type of innovation is marketing innovation. Now this is something that gets noticed by customers because it's the way that the product or the service gets marketed to them. So marketing innovation is a new marketing method involving significant changes in product design or packaging, product placement, product promotion, or pricing. So anything that impacts on the way that the product or the service is marketed to the customer comes under marketing innovation. So let's have a look at a couple of examples of marketing innovation. So the first couple of examples of marketing innovation involves the use of new technology in being able to market products. So the first one is the L'Oreal Makeup Genius app. So the app allows people to upload a photo of themselves and then try different types of makeup, different colors on their photo. So this replaced the need for people to go into a store and be able to try on makeup. They can get an idea by looking at the photo and using the app as to how different makeup is going to look on them. And then they will buy that makeup based on what they like the look of in the photo that gets adapted through the app. So that's a new way of marketing the products to the consumer, replacing the traditional going to the shop and try samples by people being able to do it from the comfort of their own home, try 10 different samples and choose the one they want using one of their own photos. So the second example of marketing innovation is the use of Instagram. Now this really changed the way marketing gets done for all types of businesses. So two ways that it changed is one, that it allowed customers to be able to advertise and target their advertisements to their customers that they want. So by using the information collected by Instagram, Instagram can then send you targeted ads and the companies pay Instagram to be able to do that. Now, so if you're targeting young women aged 20 to 25, Instagram will be able to send you ads. So only those people in that age group will see your ad. So it changed the way businesses can advertise and target their customers. The second way is provided an opportunity for businesses to able to post pictures to advertise their products. So for example, if you were a bakery selling different types of baked goods, you can post pictures of your products as a way of advertising it. So if you've created a new cake, you can post a picture of that and try and entice people to come in because they're following your account, they're seeing what you are doing. So it's another way of being able to easily advertise to your customers. So that's two ways that Instagram provided an opportunity for businesses to be innovative in their marketing. Another example of marketing innovation is the Coke rebrand that happened a couple of years ago. So this is Coke changing their packaging for some of their products. In particular, the Coke Zero and the Coke Live product. So what Coca-Cola was finding was they had names for their products and people weren't understanding what the product was. So what they did, Coke Zero, they changed to Coke No Sugar because it is the version of Coke that has zero sugar. They found that the Zero name, people weren't making that connection with zero sugar. So they decided to change it and just call it Coke No Sugar. They also added in the predominantly red and white Coca-Cola packaging or labeling that people are familiar with, and just adding the black no sugar part at the top of the label. So people more easily identified it as a Coca-Cola product. The other product that they changed was their Coke Life product. Now this was a product that was newly launched a couple of years before the rebrand that had no sugar, but instead used a product called stevia to sweeten the Coke. What they found was that it wasn't selling well and they wanted to give people a better idea as to what the product was. So similar to Coke No Sugar, they changed it and called it Coca-Cola with stevia and changed the can so it looked more like your traditional Coke can, and then just added in the stevia no sugar label at the top. So that's an example of marketing innovation where the company is changing the way that the product is branded and presented to customers. So now we'll have a look at the last type of innovation. Now, the last innovation type is organizational innovation. Now again, this is something that is not seen by the customer because it changes behind the scenes how things are done. So organizational innovation is a new organizational method in business practices, workplace organization, financial management, or external relations. So changing the way your business operates and how your business is run. So let's have a look at an example of organizational innovation. So the example of organizational innovation is tradies being able to invoice from tablets, iPads, from the job site. So before that technology became available, what you would do is you'd go out, you'd do a job, then you'd submit an invoice to the customer after you're going back to the office and prepared it. Now you can, once you finish the job, you can get on your online software using your iPad or your tablet and be able to invoice the customer straight away. So that changed the way that the business processes occur, within that tradie's business, and is an example of organizational innovation. So there are the 4 types of innovation that you can use to either start a new business or for an existing business to be able to maintain being successful. And those 4 types are product innovation, process innovation, marketing innovation, and organizational innovation.